What inspired you to develop the Teach Now series?
So I think the thing that inspired me to develop the Teach Now series was the fact that you hear lots and lots of stories that the quality of training in different places, whether it's in university, whether it's in schools or any other combination, can sometimes be quite mixed. And you hear people who've started teaching saying, I wish someone had taught me this, or I wish someone had told me that. And it got us thinking, well, why don't we do just that? Why don't we take the things that we take for granted and actually make them really clear to people for their training, so that we can guarantee that wherever you are training, you're going to get some of the expertise from people who've been around the block for a few years. And that's what we've tried to do.
So what are the main challenges facing new and trainee teachers, and how can your book support them?
I think the main challenges facing a new teacher are that you've got to do lots of things, you've got to learn lots of things, and some of the things you have to learn are very specific to your subject. So for example, if you're a scientist, you'll have a degree in science, you'll have knowledge of science, but what you need to be able to do as a teacher is to take the stuff that you know, to look at the syllabus or the curriculum that you've got, and then to find it engaging for youngsters. And that's something which you really need to craft and you need to learn about. And then there's all the other stuff which, whether you're a science teacher, an English teacher, a mathematics teacher, modern foreign languages teacher, a history teacher, is kind of more general but just as important. It's how do you explain things, how do you ask questions, how do you check whether students are understanding. So what we've tried to do in the series is to make sure that whether you're a science teacher or whatever your subject specialism, we help you in your specialism, but we're also going to be able to help you in those other areas as well.
There are many books for new and trainee teachers available today. What do you think sets the Teach Now series apart?
So yes, there are all kinds of books on the market to help teachers to train and then to develop their practice. And I think what's different about Teach Now is a couple of things really. First of all, the people who have put them together, we all work in schools. All of us do, and we teach. We do playground duty, we do lunch duty, and all those kind of things. So we're steeped in the culture of schools, and we work with trainee teachers. So we can kind of use our own experience, but also hear about the worries and the concerns that trainees might have, and try and do everything we can to support. And we put those into the books to really help them. So I think the fact there's a credibility in what we've done is important. I think the second thing we've done is we've tried to blur subject specialism, which is going to be really important, with some of the pedagogical issues. So how to ask questions, how to explain, where to stand in a classroom, all of those kind of things that people can worry about, and where your subject mentor might not give you any training. So I think we've come up with something really quite distinctive, which whatever your worry about being a teacher, whether it's your subject end of things, whether it's the more general end of things, whether it's what to wear on your first day, all of those are things we've tried to address, and we think that makes it really very special.
What do you want new and trainee teachers to take away from your new book, Teach Now, The Essentials of Teaching?
I'm hoping that people who read the book I've written for the Teach Now series will enjoy the fact that what it's doing is covering ground that people often don't tell you about. Some of it predictable, like for example how to plan lessons, how to use learning objectives, where to stand in the classroom and so on. Some of it's less predictable, how to navigate the politics of the staff room, for example, where to eat lunch, how to dress on your first day. So it's giving, I think, a whole range of practical things. And I wrote it by talking to trainee teachers, and we have lots of them at our school doing their training. And I asked them to give me a set of the things they were worried about. And I used that to frame the book. So what we've got is something which really does represent their worries and their concerns, and then I've taken my 30 years of experience and tried to address those and things that I've learned over the years. So I'm hoping people think it's a really practical handbook as they start to move into the teaching profession.
And final question, if you have one piece of advice to give to people considering becoming a teacher, what would it be?
So if I was giving one piece of advice to someone thinking of becoming a teacher, it would be go and watch teachers at work. Get into a school, get a feel for the culture of schools, because teaching is the most fantastic profession if you love it and if you're cut out for it, and if you understand that actually it's not just about what's in your classroom, it's about being on the corridors, it's about being in assemblies, it's about running extracurricular clubs. That's where the satisfaction comes from merging your teaching into working with young people and seeing them developing. And you need to check that's really for you, and if it is, then you've got a fantastic career. But to help you make the decision, I would try and get into school and just say, could you shadow someone for a day or even half a day or a week or whatever they might allow you to, so you really start to make your mind up about it.